Oh, wow. Wow.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Benny. Much like the Grinch heard the Who's singing in Whoville that morning, I am hearing a beautiful sound to my ears that's starting in low and starting to grow. And that is the sound of screaming liberals in Washington, D.C. with their salty tears flooding the streets and melting the snow. Gonna need a rubber dinghy to get out of D.C. because, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump was just handed the greatest victory at the Supreme Court, maybe ever, for any president. I don't even know. I mean, listen, this one just ruined Christmas for every hysterical, broke brain lib that ever lived. Every walls closing in lib, the walls are closing in. Oh yeah, baby, it's on like Donkey Kong, or off like Donkey Cough. I don't know. What I do know is that Donald Trump will not be facing a trial before the 2024 election. They were desperate to try and put Donald Trump in jail in Washington, D.C. before the trial. Donald Trump appealed, and now that fast track that was requested by Jack Smith just got fast-tracked directly sideways up his ass. Supreme Court rejects request to fast-track, considering if Trump is immune from prosecution, which is, of course, a really, really good case here. Is Donald Trump immune because he was the president at the time, and because of the First Amendment, and because the president, of all people, is required to practice his First Amendment rights and to tell the people what he thinks? Like, for instance, that our systems are broken. Donald Trump, that's all he did. And ladies and gentlemen, now the Supreme Court agrees, saying you are not allowed to circumvent the appeals process in our country just because you want to try and put Donald Trump in jail before he becomes president and then pardons himself and puts you in Guantanamo Bay. Baby. Justices deliver a blow to Jack Smith's special counsel by refusing to expedite. Court of Appeals in D.C. will now consider Trump is immune from prosecution, if he is immune. The decision could delay March 4th start date, will delay March 4th start date. It'll be happening sometime in 2027, this trial. The Supreme Court has declined to fast-track the landmark case to consider if Donald Trump is immune from prosecution of any crimes while he was in office. The justices delivered a blow to Jack Smith by rebuffing his bid to leapfrog a lower court of appeals to speed up the ruling on the president's immunity. Trump has argued that the case should be dismissed because former presidents cannot face criminal charges for conduct related to their official responsibilities. The decision is a victory for Republican presidential frontrunner. Now Trump's legal troubles could get pushed far closer or after November 5th general elections. Come on, baby. The justices, 3 of whom Trump appointed, are also set to take up the Colorado case on whether he can be kicked off the ballot as an insurrectionist. Not gonna happen. Oh, baby, we are out here. Mike Davis, of course, dear friend of the show, saying Supreme Court properly declined Biden special counsel Jack Smith's extraordinary request to interfere in the election, fast-tracking unprecedented prosecution of Biden's chief political rival. The court correctly tells Jack Smith to follow the normal appellate procedures. Here's a giant F-U from the Trump court. The Supreme Court issued a one-line order denying Smith's request. The no noted dissents order attached. So nobody, not even the lib justices, not even Ketanji Brown Jackson. I don't know what a woman is. I'm not a biologist. She didn't even say that this is something that's good or correct to do. It's just a single line. The petition of writ before judgment is denied. Bam. Donald Trump Jr. chiming in. The Supreme Court just rejected Jack Smith's attempts to rig an election and bypass normal procedure. Appellate court regarding my father's challenge, fake insurrection, January 6th, and techno fog. Supreme Court has denied it. There won't be a trial in D.C. before 2024 election. Make no mistake, this is a huge loss for the special counsel. Special counsel, is it even legal? Man, I don't think so. Not one of the 9 justices, says Mike Davis, indicated they would have granted Jack Smith's request. Jack is the pro at getting beat unanimously at the Supreme Court, like when it unanimously reversed his convictions of Bob McDonnell. Jack Smith is a laughing stock. Ladies and gentlemen, people who aren't laughing is MSNBC, who are crying the seething, searing, salty tears down their cheeks. Oh, and it burns and it smells like sulfur.
All right, let's get to that breaking news, everybody. We have got this. It's from the Supreme Court, where special counsel Jack Smith's request to immediately settle Donald Trump's immunity claim in the election interference probe It has been denied, essentially shuttling that which Jack Smith wanted, the fast track, if you will, to decide presidential immunity. Donald Trump, of course, has asked the Supreme Court to take this case up as well. So there's a lot to get to right now because the interpretation of this could greatly sideline upcoming cases and potentially affect the 2024 election.
You think?
Joining us now, we have NBC News Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Delanian, and back with us.
I love this. It could affect the 2024 election by allowing Trump to run. Oh, my God, they're such communists.
Former U.S. attorney and MSNBC legal analyst Barbara McQuade. Okay, let's go first to you, Barbara. What's your interpretation of this? How much does this set back Jack Smith?
Yeah, this is definitely a setback for Jack Smith, who had hoped to leapfrog the Court of Appeals and go straight to the Supreme Court. Instead, he will have to first litigate this matter in the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals. Now, in the meantime, since he filed this request with the Supreme Court, the D.C. Circuit has said they would hear the question on an expedited basis. They have set oral argument in the case for January 9th. If they decide fairly quickly, then we could be back at the Supreme Court maybe within a month or so, if the court acts quickly. Or it could be that they take their time and we don't decide the case until June, in which case the trial will be delayed by that amount. So I think the March 4th trial date, either way you slice it, is in some trouble now. That doesn't mean it can't be tried before the election, but I think we're looking more at a summer trial instead of a spring trial.
Oh, baby. Smell the fear? You smell the fear? Yeah, right. Okay, so check it out. Here's how Fox is covering.
So Jack Smith has lost his effort to speed up consideration as to whether the former president was immune from prosecution for interfering with the 2020 presidential election. Now, this first goes to an appeals court, likely in Washington, D.C. Only then would it later go to the Supreme Court. This likely upends the chances of a March 4th trial date for the former president. Now, Jack Smith wanted quick action by the Supreme Court, effectively bypassing the appellate court. Listen.
The special counsel was asking to effectively leapfrog over the D.C. Circuit in order to get a judgment as quickly as possible. Jack Smith has made very clear that he wants this case tried before the election.
This upends the potential political calendar. This means it's unclear if the case by special counsel Jack Smith can be wrapped up before the election. Now, the Trump campaign would like to drag this out as long as possible, and the courts don't necessarily need to comport with the political calendar.
Yeah, baby.
Trump
Come on.
that the Supreme Court has refused to jump over the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals and immediately rule on whether or not Donald Trump has immunity from prosecution, really throwing a wrench into the special counsel Jack Smith's plans to try to have a trial starting on March the 4th. Joining us now on the phone is Shannon Bream, Fox News Sunday anchor and a chief legal correspondent. I quipped to Jonathan Turley just before the break that Jack Smith got a lump of coal in his stocking for Christmas. I don't know how you can see this as anything.
Come on, baby. That's right. Call him up. Old King Cole. Jack Smith is a comical goofball who doesn't live in reality. In fact, special counsel's own existence is apparently unconstitutional. Special counsel in Trump's case, unconstitutional. Former Attorney General for Ronald Reagan argues that Meese, who's the former Attorney General for Ronald Reagan, says, along with a bunch of other law professors, that Jack Smith's appointment as a private citizen is a violation of the Appointments Clause in the Constitution. Not clothed in the authority of the federal government, Smith is the modern example of a naked emperor, improperly appointed with no authority to represent the United States in court other than more than Bryce Harper, Taylor Swift, or Jeff Bezos. The brief was filed in response to Smith's request to expedite, which he has now totally lost. Another humiliation. And just a reminder here, ladies and gentlemen, that the reason that they wanted this trial to happen so fast, the reason that they need this to happen so quickly is but every single day, more evidence comes out to prove that Donald Trump was the opposite of what they say he is. Here is the video that got Donald Trump deleted from Twitter. This video, ladies and gentlemen, alone is the one that they tried to stop you from seeing. They didn't want you to see it. Here it is in all of its glory. We have it saved. Tell me, ladies and gentlemen, do you smell the panic? And Merry Christmas.
I know you're hurt.
We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great peace.